Work schedule. In this movie, we're going to look at the work schedule report. This is automatically generated for us and directly linked to the information that's been entered into our payment schedule. Due to the work schedule being linked to the payment schedule, it will be best practice to generate, check, and if necessary adjust the payment schedule to our requirements before we go to the work schedule. OK, to access the work schedule, we click the Report tab and click the Work Schedule button. This part of our work schedule is broken down into 3 sections. At the top, we have the summary. Below this, we have the work schedule in a start and completion date table format. At the bottom, we have the payment schedule and due date information for the payments. We'll start with the summary. On the left, we can see the number of days this job will take to complete, and below this, the number of weeks. On the right, we can see the start date and finish date for these works. We have a button here that opens a calendar that we can use for reference purposes. As this is a document that you may want to share with your client, and to prevent any confusion when the job is underway, the blue text confirms that bad weather and additional works aren't allowed for. We entered the start date when we were completing the client and job details page. If we need to change this, we can. We click the Reports tab, click the Job Details button, we're taken to the client and job details page. Just to show you, we'll adjust this to Monday the 19th of May. We'll go back to the work schedule. Instantly, every single date has automatically adjusted to reflect our new start date, including the due dates for our payments. Let's just switch that back. We go back to the work schedule. Everything's automatically changed. This is a really handy feature. The work schedule is based on a Monday to Friday 5-day working week basis. So no work is scheduled in for a Saturday or Sunday. It will also automatically not schedule in any work on any date that has been added to the holidays chart that's within the programme. The holiday chart is preloaded with some dates, for example Christmas and some bank holidays, but we can add any further dates that we don't want to be included in the work schedule. We don't need to add in Saturdays and Sundays, as the programme will automatically not include these. We'll be looking at the holiday chart in more detail in its own movie. We'll return to our work schedule. All of the jobs that are listed in this section are laid out in the same way. In this column, we can see the number of tradespeople who will be carrying out this section of work. Here, we can see the number of days this section of work will take. Next, we have the start date information for it, so we can see the description and the date, including the actual day of the week. The final column contains the completion date information for the section of works. All of this is fully adjustable, and we can just use the Edit button. We'll look at this in detail shortly. As we can see, every job on this list has been assigned a colour. If we scroll down to the payment schedule, we can see that each stage payment is also colour-coded. So any jobs that are highlighted light blue are part of the completion of joist's stage payment. And we'll notice that the due date for the completion of joist's stage payment is the same as the completion date of this job here. Because this job is the final job within the completion of joist's stage payment, once it's completed, the stage payment becomes due. The initial payment and completion of oversight are colour-coded green. The initial payment is due on the start date. The completion of oversight payment is due on the completion date of the final job that's colour-coded green. If we want to edit this chart, we can. We can view the work schedule in this date-based format, but for the purposes of editing, we may find it clearer to use this chart. We may want to adjust this prior to the works commencing, as well as when the work is underway. OK, so here's the chart. The jobs that are going to be done are listed here, in the order that they will be carried out. And we can see that the same colour coding that relates to the stage payment they are within applies. At a glance, we can see that this decorating, that is part of the completion of work stage payment, is going to take some time. Let's change this. We click the Edit Chart button. Now, we just use the drop-downs to drill down to the decorating. So first, we select the stage payment the job we want to edit is in. So in this case, completion of contract. Colour coding for this payment is shown here, another helpful visual reference. Now this drop-down will list all the jobs that have been allocated to the completion of work stage payment. Here's the decorating. We select that. OK, now we can see the current work schedule information for the decorating. So this is the number of men, this is the duration of these works, and here is the start date. We'll add a couple more men. Instantly, the duration of these works is halved. We'll enter this in. The chart adjusts to match our changes, so the length of the decorating is shortened and the jobs that are to be done when it's completed are brought forward. We'll do another example. Let's say we've had a delay on the roof trusses, so when the wall plate is done, we won't be able to start the roof structure straight away. We'll click Edit. We select the completion of roof. See, the light yellow colour matches the completion of roof structure, so we know we have the correct payment. We'll choose roof structure from here. There's going to be a 4-day delay, so we need to move the start date along. We now have a gap, and as we can see, every job that follows this is also starting later too. If we want to claw back some of this time that's been lost, what we could do, for example, is add more men to the job, like this. We'll add another man. This will speed up the roof structure work and reduce it to 5 days. We have minimised the impact of this delay somewhat by adding this extra man, but there are other ways to catch up even more. We could overlap the work. Let's see how. We've got a small area of wall here for the gables on the lean-to roof. Maybe the carpenters could do the work on the lean-to part of the roof structure first. Then the bricklayers could come in and do the bricklaying for gables while the carpenters are working on the other areas of the roof. In some situations, the size of the job may mean it's not possible to do this, or the trades may not be prepared to work in this way, but the bricklaying and carpentry gangs we're using are. So let's adjust the schedule to allow for this. We're in the correct stage payment, as the colour coding shows. We'll select this walls section and bring the start date forward by 2 days. As we can see, we do have some overlap, but this is where the carpenters will be carrying out work on other areas of the roof structure, and the bricklayers will be doing the gables on the lean-to roof area. So overall on the work schedule now, we've caught up on most of the time lost by the roof trusses being delayed. We can make any changes like this to any area of the work schedule. We just click the Edit Chart, select the stage payment that the job we want to adjust is in, then select the job. We can increase or decrease the number of men to speed up or slow down the job, and change the start date. Any works that follow on from the job we've adjusted will instantly adjust too. The work schedule is automatically generated for us based on the information we've put into the pricing sheet and the way we allocated jobs to the stage payments in our payment schedule. By default, each job will follow on from the next, in the order that we've added them to the payment schedule. But we can edit it to our exact requirements, and once the job is underway, we can overcome and work around any unexpected delays to keep the job moving and the payments on track. We'll click the View Personnel button. Here, we can see an overview of all the personnel that have been allowed on this job. So here at the top, we can see the total number of individual personnel days that will be required to do this job. As we will have more than one individual on site at a time, we can see here the total number of working days that this job will take. Below this, we can see each job or work section that is to be carried out, the number of trades or personnel that are assigned to the task, and the duration of it. We can click the Next button to look through all the work sections if we want. So here on our roof structure, we can see the number of trades is 3, and the duration matches what we entered earlier. We'll just go back to the work schedule with dates. We click this button. OK, so all of the dates in here that have been affected by the adjustments we've made will now have changed. We'll notice that we have the option to view the personnel information whilst we're in this part of the work schedule too. We just click the same View Personnel button to open the form. We can access the Gantt chart from here. We won't click this at the moment as we'll be looking at the Gantt chart in its own movie. We can print off our work schedules by clicking this button here. If we click on the blue info icon, we can view further help information about using and getting the most out of our work schedule.